like soft opening. I just can't stand every time I sit. It's not me, but the clothes I'm wearing make me look like I'm fat as shit, and it's driving me nuts. I'm 212 pounds. I'm not fat.
What do you mean they make you feel like it?
Well, the way that like it lines, because my chest is, I got
You got a big chest?
yeah. And then what
You
happens
got those
is
bosoms, bro?
it fills in that the sternum Werther's, baby, and then it like makes it look like I have a gut.
Yeah.
But I don't. But it doesn't lay right. I hate it. So I just look fat when I'm not fat.
I think I broke something in my rib because I'm kind of getting like a little bird cage chest, like where it's coming out a little bit because of like their bone right here. Like you can feel it later when we're naked, but you can feel it later, like right here. There's like it popping out.
You should, I don't know. You might have a rib out.
Probably.
Yeah. Might be good to go to the chiropractor. Get work done.
what?
Self-care.
A what?
Yeah, exactly. A chiropractor.
Oh, maybe. Well, welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's up, my guy?
Dude, it's another day not being married to Anna Kendricks, but it's fine.
It's fine.
So we will suffer in silence, I suppose.
Women's suffrage?
I just love her.
I don't know why you pulled that. I don't even know if you pulled it down. It could have been me. Just keep talking. Give our sponsors. Right
This is, dude, we don't have any sponsors.
Do something.
Do something, he says. This is strictly Patreon. That's fine. So we have a lot to discuss. We're going to be recording about 3 episodes here. So buckle up, stay tuned, and enjoy. But we are definitely going to start with a useless fact per norm. And then we will dive into today's topic because this episode is the first of 3. So this is going to drop on a Monday, Solar Eclipse Day. So we're going to talk about some current events, and then we'll continue drinking. And by the 3rd episode, be completely off the rails because we've already done 3 Wednesday whiskey reviews before we sat down, which is good.
Yeah, that's the goal. Is just to get inebriated before we record these because then we're a little bit more loose,
Loose.
So solar eclipse coming up. Before we get to like the main topic of
Hold on, because we're not dropping what the main topic is yet. That's a cliffhanger. It's a little teaser.
Okay.
Before we dive into the useless fact, what about the solar eclipse?
Do you want to dive into the useless fact first, or do you want to dive in? Okay.
What about the solar eclipse?
So like, this is kind of a little bit more of a longer conversation, I guess. But
Well, then we'll cliff note it.
Are you like excited for the solar eclipse? Or are you just kind of like, dude, whatever?
Yeah, I'm whatever. I don't care. I'm actually kind of aggravated. Look at the way this sits. I look like I'm obese. I look like I'm built like a pear.
No, you do not, dude.
Are you kidding me? This is very unbecoming.
My problem with those sweatshirts is sometimes like the neck gets a little big because my head is massive. So then it starts hanging down low and then you can see my undershirt. And that's what I don't like.
I might take this thing off.
Hell yeah. Let's
Anyways,
go.
Yeah, it's so.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were like dancing baronet, taking off all your clothes.
No, Magic Bear?
Oh,
How do you know about that? Anyways, there's a... You're laughing because you know, and
I've
you
watched
shouldn't.
TV, yeah.
That's, oh,
What?
sure. So, yeah, I call it film study.
Yeah.
So I was an athlete. So it's not that I'm not excited about the eclipse. I'm kind of excited about the eclipse. What I'm not excited about is the weather's going to be amazing, and there's a lot of things that we need to do professionally at work where we needed good weather to do it. And the one day we have good weather, we're off. Like we just closed as a company. Not my call. So I'm like, well, because the sun.
Yeah.
Like what pagan event
the
is
sun.
this? You know what I mean? So it's just kind of crazy, but I'm kind of excited for it. You know, the next one won't happen until 2044. So
Is
I
that
think
true though? Because didn't we just have a solar eclipse like 40 or like 7 years ago?
So there's a difference. There's an eclipse and then there's a total eclipse. And what we're experiencing is a total eclipse. It's like the full real deal, non-shebang, like no nonsense thing.
How long is it going to last?
About 3 minutes.
And there's going to be more than 1 million people coming to our region because we're in the path of totality.
Just to put this in reference.
So you're going to be clogging up everything for 3 minutes of darkness when you could just wake up in the middle of the night.
Mainly Asians that go to UB.
Jesus Christ. Maybe we shouldn't do the ton of whiskey reviews before.
I'm not wrong. They come in Greyhound buses.
Yeah, it's like that Bill Burr skit when he's like, I'm not racist, dude. I put the after. It's like you say these Asian motherfuckers and everyone's okay with it.
Dude,
but then you go,
can't say this.
fucking Asians.
We're a family podcast.
Are we though? We're drinking whiskey, getting blitzed.
Yeah, still. Okay, add some beeps in there.
I'll add some beeps. Don't worry.
Woof. Going off the rails.
It's fine.
Leave uncensored for Patreon.
Anywho, so what about the Asians?
So, well, they're everywhere with selfie sticks, but they come in droves with Greyhound buses, and they mainly go to UB. That's just how it is. It is what it is. So, so from 1 to 3 is like it, and then the best viewing time is like 3 to 3:30, and then 3 to 3:05 is like the Jesus is landing. Hopefully, he touched my shoulder and gets rid of my ailments. But I don't know. It's gonna be insane. I'm excited for it. I'm probably going to be like 7 Manhattans deep, naked on my roof, trying to see through the clouds. But, it is what it is.
Did you get glasses?
No. I'm staring straight at it.
Jesus. Well, going forward, it's just going to be me on the podcast because Mike won't be able to see anything.
No.
Gina's like, Cleo's going to be under a blanket. I'm like, can you relax for a minute? She's fine.
It's going to get really dark, and then you're going to look up and be like, okay, and that's it. I feel like the glasses are to basically just cut the glare so you can get a better view of it.
Yeah, like big government wanting to force their stuff on you.
Or a capitalist who wanted to make some money, which is totally fine. I don't think that there's a lot of eye danger if you just look at it quick and you're like, all right, whatever.
Well, you can look at the sun quick right now. It's more for people.
I've also looked at a welding bead quick, or, the welding arc quick, and it was fine.
I think it's more for people that are dumb that will look at it and stare for like 40 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, well, obviously you're going to get eye damage then at that point. But if you look at the sun right now for 2 seconds, you're not going to get eye damage.
Right.
So just don't stare
I'm just
where
going
the
to check it
sun
out
will
quick.
be. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's it. So are you excited?
I mean, not really.
All
like
right.
it'll be weird to see like no sun and it'd be pitch black in the middle of the day, but I've also been awake at night, so I know what darkness looks like. And I think like maybe something weirder would be like the earthquakes that just happened in Taiwan that killed like so many people.
Yeah.
But like, let's just go look at the sun being blocked for 4 seconds.
Right.
I don't know.
Astrology.
I'm not like a liberal or anything, but like at the same time, it's like, don't we have better things to do?
We do. Of course we do.
Right.
But it's, I don't know.
Like we're closing the entire region. Kids have off school.
Mm-hmm. It's not that it's once in a lifetime, like it's going to happen again in 2044, but it's going to be a hot minute. So it is what it is. I don't want to be 50 trying to look at this again, but I would be. So I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So useless fact piggybacks off of last week's episode, which became a clip.
Yeah.
In the Victorian era, Derek, doctors prescribed beards to help keep men healthy.
How do you prescribe a beard?
Doctors had no idea what they were doing. They literally treated like demons inside of you with cocaine because they didn't know what was going on.
Hell yeah, give me that cane, bro.
Anyways, some doctors recommended that men grow beards to avoid sore throats. Useless fact. Do you have less
speaking
sore throats
of dumb
now that you have a
people,
beard?
I have less sore throats because I've become an adult and I started washing my hands.
I mean, you're a hypochondriac, so if you think about when's the last time you had a sore throat, you're probably going to feel like you have a sore throat
Actually,
now.
I was sick like a week ago. I was basically dying a week ago.
Yeah.
I felt like I was. But like, I don't... So what is the thought process behind that? That all of your energy is going to your neck to grow a beard that it can't then get sore? Like, what's the thought process behind that?
So I've done zero research on it. But what I would say about what you just said, I think we should talk about quickly.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the main topic of...
I mean, that's the whole point of these useless facts, bro.
Well, no, I know. But you just said, I felt like I was dying and I was really sick. Okay? There's also like some weird bird disease that's just flying through the air. No pun intended, but literally. And
is it though? Because it's like one dude in Texas.
Is it though? And then we have, that's what they're only reporting. Trust me, I have literature for you to read. The other aspect is I also got sick for a maybe food poisoning from Bella. Doubt it.
From Bella Pizza?
Yeah,
No,
doubt
dude,
it.
Bella doesn't do that to you.
Exactly, because Bella's amazing. There's no such way that I would get food poisoning from them. However, maybe I did. I doubt it. It's pizza. There's no way, in my mind.
Pizza's never hurt me.
Pizza's only left me. Now, this sweater. People, I am not. Trust me, it is much better.
Well,
underneath.
this kind of makes me look like I haven't done chest in like 4 years. So I mean, you got a little love here.
Yeah,
all good.
it's just crazy. Okay,
Just
so
don't look at yourself.
So, yeah, funny. So, they were right back in the 80s. The camera adds 10 pounds. So,
Sure does.
I'm walking at 212 right now. Okay, I'm fit and trim. I had something for it was like 48 hours.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was actually longer than that. It was like 3 days.
Yeah, you were dying for a while.
I went home early from work. Like, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Nothing stayed down. Everything came out. Top and bottom, everything came out. A wonderful cleanse from the Lord. And
That's why you're 212. You were 220 before, but now you're 212.
correct. So the whole point of this, okay, is not to talk about that. The whole point of this is to ask a logical question to you.
Mm-hmm.
During the pandemic,
Oh boy.
first responders, politicians, nurses, and other individuals were fired from their jobs for denying the vaccine because it was unbelievable that you would not take a vaccine for COVID. Now, my camera shot.
Yeah, because you started talking about the vaccine, the camera's going like, we can't air this.
Well, China's involved. So what we have now is a massive influx in illegal immigrants. Hear me out.
There he goes with the Asians again.
Hear me out. Illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, whatever you want to call them.
This is not airing.
It is. So my question is, if you were called out and screamed at for not getting the vaccine as a citizen of the U.S., but now we have a massive influx of people from around the world coming into the U.S. freely, there's no health screening for any of them.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Because you're telling me that they're not bringing nothing into this country that's causing everybody else to get sick?
Well, you have to remember, before COVID, there wasn't any of that anyway.
But before COVID, we had a border. We don't have a border right now.
We did, but we didn't, because different presidents had different border regulations too. There's definitely more of an increase in people coming over, but the fact that they're not vaccinated or could be carrying anything over, in my opinion, is irrelevant, because 4 years ago we didn't have that requirement to be vaccinated anyway before COVID happened.
We also had way less people coming in.
Right, yeah.
There's literally 300,000 plus people a month entering the country illegally through the southern border.
Is this what happens when I feed you whiskey before episodes? We just get mad political?
It's not political. My camera's having an aneurysm.
Yeah, because you talked about COVID, dude.
No. Just go, I don't know. Just keep an eye on it and then just switch to this view. It's not mad political. It's an honest question that I'm raising because I feel like there's got to be something to this. Like, if we want to talk about history repeating itself, which we always say history repeats itself, it's like a cliche comment that generally gets swept under the rug. Native Americans were decimated by the English when they came, and there was smallpox, there was a bunch of different diseases. It was a mess. It was disgusting. And now we have people from all over the place just walking in willy-nilly, and there's things affecting citizens of the United States, and there's no answer from any healthcare professional. I know somebody whose husband is on his second round of antibiotics and inhaler because he's had a cough for like months that hasn't gone away. So I'm not saying that he has it from illegal. Like, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we should probably have the conversation as a country of like, at what point are we really causing more harm than good? Because I understand the whole, like, if I have room at my table, I'm going to invite someone over, whatever. But There's got to be something to that. I'm not insane for thinking that.
No, and I think I don't know what's going on with your camera. You wanna try to like unplug it and like turn it off or turn it back on while I talk, because I do have an interesting perspective on that. I do agree that as a country, we're seeing more different diseases lately because of the influx of different people coming through the border carrying different things. Like, that's understandable, and I don't think that that's a very polarizing thing to say, because that's just statistics, right? Like, if you have more people coming in, there's going to be more things that they could be bringing in. That's, again, just statistics. What I think why we're seeing this influx of people getting sick is because we were vaccinated for a disease, and then we were forced to stay inside. Some people for like 2 years, they didn't leave their house. So when you're not exposed to that type of stuff and you're not exposed to everyday viruses, then your immune system gets worse. And then when your immune system gets worse, you're more apt to get sick from different viruses. So I think it has more to, like, I agree with you. I think that we are seeing more diseases, but I think the reason that we're getting sicker from these diseases is because we were sheltered from everything that can be bad for you for 2 whole years while the government tried to figure things out for us. And now we're just very prone to getting sick because our immune systems are absolutely destroyed. That's my thoughts on it.
I've also, I don't know if I'm level.
You're not.
Yeah, but so the other, I don't know, man. Like, my immune system is historically stronger, specifically than my wife's, where I'll get sick after her, but it doesn't last as long. I also traveled during the pandemic. We both did. We both went to Ireland. I went to Greece. And then there was a multitude of different things. However, what I would say is I also have gotten shots that I don't know what they were that were also provided by the government when I was in the service.
Yeah.
So, and I have no idea what they were. We had like prison street names for what they were. Like, oh, that's a peanut butter shot. Like, make sure you rub it out so it doesn't coagulate inside your skin.
Rub it out.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's, I don't know. I just feel like there's more to this than what's actually being discussed. And those that are critically thinking and asking the questions are getting hushed or just not heard. And it's frustrating because there really is something to be said about having 300,000 plus people a month coming into a country that it's just straight up not sustainable.
Well, I'll tell you what, when this 24 presidential election is over, and let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Trump wins.
Okay.
I don't think that that's far off that he wins, because Biden literally can't even form sentences.
Yeah, I think people are over it.
I think people are over it. And if you see Trump in office, you see the House stays Republican, and you see the Senate now is Republican.
And you see interest rates drop.
People are going in, well, yeah, but like from a political standpoint, you have a majority Republican to where Trump would say, let's release some evidence of January 6th. Let's release it of the border. Let's release it of COVID mandates. And he starts kind of exposing, because say what you want about the man, but he doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't care if you're Republican or Democrat. He will rip you to shreds.
Which I'm curious to see if Kennedy gets elected, what that actually looks like.
I think he shot himself in the foot with his VP pick, because his VP pick was so...
Well, it was rushed.
Unassuming.
It was rushed.
Yeah,
too.
and it wasn't left and it wasn't right. So now the people that were going to vote for him, either left or right, have absolutely no reason to vote for him.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm sure, but you can also look at it as, I will vote for you because I literally don't want Trump or Biden. So I just want something different. I want something, a second attempt really at trying to maintain some sort of norm or middle. But he had to pick his VP because he had to get into the primaries in certain states. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see how that works. But yeah, I don't know. I really feel like there are so many things on hold because it's an election year and it's frustrating, but it happens every election year. It's just kind of like, all right, something has to give though. I really don't think Biden wins this.
So going back to getting sick, do you have something that you go through every time that you feel like you're getting sick that you feel like helps you not get as sick as you should be?
No. I just do my same routine, which is like a good diet, a multivitamin, and hydrate, and then exercise. And I pretty much don't get sick.
Every time that I feel a sickness come on, which is not often because I really don't get sick that much either, but the second that I feel, I'm not kidding you, and I'm not saying this because I'm a whiskey guy, the first thing I do is I go for whiskey. And I try to basically flush and kill everything because I don't know if you all know this, but alcohol is a poison. It literally is, and it will kill stuff. So as soon as I feel sick, like my throat starts hurting or anything like that, I drink whiskey and I don't feel any impacts. This was different. I had a fever. I might have had the flu or something, but like sore throats or nasal, like any sinuses or anything like that, I just drink whiskey and it's over within 24 hours. I don't know if it's my immune system and it's just me tricking myself by drinking whiskey, or if it's just an excuse for me to drink whiskey. I don't know. But every single time that I start getting sick, I have a glass of whiskey and I'm fine.
It's crazy.
It is awesome. I love whiskey so much.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's the nectar of the gods, man.
It is.
You can't beat it. So today's meat and potatoes of the episode. You ready?
Yeah.
You want to announce what it is to the people?
We're coming. No. Steph Diggs. I think we're in a sweet spot right now because you and I haven't recorded in so long. It's been like 3 months since we recorded. Like after or prior to these last two that just released, it was 3 months before we recorded. And now we're kind of playing catch up. Normally, the way that we operate is we like to have a backlog. We like to record things early. One, to give ourselves a little bit of leeway if something does come up, if one of us does get sick, if Ava gets sick, if Colleen gets sick, if Gina gets sick, if we just have things going on, we like having that backup plan to be able to say, okay, we'll just do next week. But right now we are kind of we're not necessarily far behind, but we're not recording that week lag. Today we're going to do 3 episodes, so we will have some. But this episode that we're recording right now, today is what? What's today's date?
The 5th. We just had to fix my watch.
Today's the 5th. So this is going to be releasing on the 8th.
Yeah.
So I literally have to edit this like tonight or this weekend and have a disc golf tournament tomorrow. So I have to do it tonight. So we're in an interesting spot to actually be able to talk about current events before things get overdrawn. The Steph Diggs news just broke 2 days ago. 2 days ago, or was it yesterday?
No, it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. It was Wednesday at 11:30.
So right when that news breaks, you were working, I was working.
I remember where I was.
I got a notification on my phone. So let's go chronologically. I got a notification on my phone. I sent it to you. What was your first initial thoughts? Don't say what your thoughts are now, but first initial thoughts when you got that message from me.
Well, I read your text, and all I seen was what? And then I seen the picture of Diggs, and I read it, and I'm just like, okay. And then it clicked, and I'm like, we really just trade him? And I clicked the photo, and it was the first news from Schefter, because he broke it, saying Diggs is going to Houston. And I do 2 things. I like freak out internally, and then the rational side of me is like, what are the details of the trade? Second, immediately go to 550. And I happened to be driving, which was amazing. I was right outside of Mercy Hospital. So I was driving for work, and then I'm like, okay. And then by the time I turned 550 up, because I was on the phone right before I took a phone call. So when it switched back to the radio, they were like, okay, well, everything that we've just talked about changed. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Diggs is now going to Houston. And then I listened to the actual reaction of 550 hearing the news, and it was hilarious. There were 2 guys on the show, but you could hear the producer in the back literally stand up and go, this is ridiculous. This is insane. And you hear him in like the far off distance where it's like 2 bears, 1 cave. Yeah. And the guy in the background's just laughing. Like that's what it sounded like. And it was amazing because all of us were in sync at the same time thinking, why? What are the details? What about the cap? Money. Like, yeah. And then now the draft. And those were the 7 things that just came up that everybody was immediately thinking about. And I actually immediately texted Nate Geary, and I said, Nate, I don't remember a more significant trade in our lifetime as Bills fans. And he said the two biggest trades in Buffalo history both involved Diggs.
Yeah.
Acquiring him and trading him out were it, because we weren't really like aware enough to understand releasing of the three big in the 90s the same day, where they found out on the TV. You know, like the old school Bills organization not giving a damn about players. So I'm really curious to see how this whole thing shakes out. And I like that we're recording now because more stuff has came out about the trade, about the deal. He just restructured his contract last night.
Yeah.
And it's super interesting to see how this whole thing is unwinding.
So your first thoughts when you found out that Diggs was traded, were you sad? Were you like, what were your initial reactions? Not thinking back logically, like what were your initial reactions?
My initial reaction was, oh, that kind of stings. Something happened behind the scenes. They really didn't like the drama around him. What about the cap?
Yeah.
And or just money in general. Like, it wasn't specific about cap. It was really just money in general. Like, what is this? And then what did we get? Like, what are the details of the trade so that we understand, like, what actually is this? And obviously, when it first broke, it was, we got a second-round draft pick next year. We got rid of him, and they got 2 picks.
It wasn't even, I mean, it was Houston's draft pick, but it technically is from Minnesota, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then it immediately, our next conversation was, we're obviously trading up in the draft. And now it's trying to figure out who we're going to get.
Yeah.
And that's a really fun conversation to have, which we'll get to later. But I just feel like it was monumental. And then all of the focus went to the draft. All of it. And it's like, what's done is done. You know, like, just, it is what it is. It sucks. People are going to talk about this for days. I'm now focused on the draft. I watched the combine. This is why I watched the combine. It's draft, because this draft is now unbelievably important for the next 5 years for Allen. What about you? Because you were at home working. The news breaks on your phone.
Yeah. So what my initial thoughts were, I can't believe this is happening. Like, my first initial thoughts was, I got to screenshot this and send this to Mike, and I have to text Tom. Those are my first 2 thoughts. Because I need to tell somebody about this.
We were talking about it happening after this season.
Yeah.
Not this season.
And now that more stuff has come out, which we'll talk about, but like, my initial thoughts was, I can't believe this is happening. But, and I promise you guys, this was my first initial thoughts, is there has to be something behind the scenes that we don't know, because Bean is not stupid to make this trade for a second-round pick. There's no way that Bean just traded away our theoretical best player for a second-round pick in next year's draft and have no rationale behind it. We have dead cap of $30 million. I didn't know about the guaranteed money that he was supposed to get that weekend, which is what I think, after hearing that, of this trade happened 2 days ago, tomorrow or Sunday, he was guaranteed $18 million. So if we were going to move Diggs in the 2024 season, that day would have been it, because we had to do something before he was guaranteed an additional $18 million from us for 2024. So now that all came out, it's a little bit more understandable what Bean is doing. He understands that Josh has, a $60 million cap next year, or $45 million cap next year?
I believe it's 45.
He has $45 million cap next year. For Diggs, it would have been another tens of millions of cap.
So this is, I actually have it.
Yeah,
because
pull it up.
I sent it to you because some random dude on Facebook broke it down, which was unbelievable. That's also why you read comments, because you learn.
Yeah.
The Bills paid him $4 million for the last 2 years. That's amazing.
That's great.
The year they owe him $18.5 million. This year they owed him $18.5 million. $18 million next year. 19 the year after, and then 14 the final year. So they just freed up a ton of space, paid nothing for the last 2 years of production. And the last half of last year was garbage. He had 10 catches in the last 6 games, and we went 6-0, and he had 10 catches. He also had a drop of a generation.
And that's the interesting part that I think people forget. Diggs is, in his prime, he was one of the best receivers in the game.
I also don't know if he's out of his prime per se. I don't know if he checked out. I feel like there's an element of him not wanting to be here after last season.
I think after the Kansas City game when he just stood there.
2022. Yeah. I think 2022 we kind of checked out, and I don't blame him. I get it. I also don't hate Diggs.
No.
I like him a lot. I like his swag. I like him professionally. I like what he does. I like his craft. I love his work off the field. I hate his moon boots. I hate his outfits. Like, I just don't understand fashion. I also don't think Bean liked it either.
Yeah.
Based off of what he was saying in the presser after the trade, where he goes, he was doing his fashion thing. I think that's literally what he said, for, like, the quote. When I listened to it, I chuckled. I laughed. I was like, yeah, man, like he's literally in Paris doing his, or I think he said his fashion stuff or his fashion thing, one of those two. And it's basically just like, he's doing him. And there's an element of like, I just don't know if it's Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't know if he kind of worked his way outside of Buffalo DNA, which is what the organization coined. Yeah. And
I think
it was, in my opinion, 30% drama, 70% financial.
Yeah.
And I really think we took this offseason as we're just going to get young and we're going to get financially healthy and we're just going to move on. We're just going to rip the Band-Aid off now, and we're going to have everybody deal with it as a fan base. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We can't have dead cap. We can't have bad cap. We can't have bad contracts. We can't have bad contract extensions anymore, because Allen's contract is in the prime of all of our money's going to Allen, and we are not losing Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Like, we can't lose Josh Allen. So now we got to make real big boy business decisions in the NFL and do things that don't feel good.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And Diggs was the last of that. We started with senior, all of our captains, the safeties, the linemen, the DBs, and then it got into Stefan, and we're just like, it is what it is, man. Like, Diggs, we got to move on. Like, sorry. Like, it doesn't make sense anymore.
What I think people miss, too, is that 100% Josh Allen was consulted before that decision was made, and I can guarantee you if Josh said, no, keep Diggs, they would have found a way to keep Diggs, because everything revolves around Josh Allen right now. And if Josh and Diggs were as close as the media also portrayed them as enemies quite a bit too, but if they were as happy-go-lucky as being best friends on the Cheerio box or whatever it was, they would have found a way to stay together. And Bean probably said to Allen, you're the center of our team. Are you against us exploring a trade to get rid of, to trade Stefan Diggs? And I can guarantee you if Allen said don't do that, they would not have done that.
I don't know, because based off of what he said, it was asked. And Bean straight up said to the media, I told Josh that there's interest for Diggs. It's not off the table. And I really feel like the organization just told him, we are still going to do what's best for the organization. I'm just giving you a forewarning that this might happen. Take it or leave it, but like, it is what it is.
So, I take that as Josh saying, okay. Because to me, Diggs...
At the same point, what else would you say? Your employer just told you offers aren't off of the table. Like, we are going to listen to things.
You're also the face of the franchise, though.
Well, of
and
course.
If your organization says, or if you say no to your organization, and you're in Josh Allen's caliber, I think that they would have tried to do everything that they possibly can to make it work.
And I'm sure that there was an element of that conversation. I just think that it makes, again, that's why I really think it's 30-70. Like, the money didn't make sense anymore. It really didn't make sense anymore. And the fact that Von straight up, it wasn't even a restructure of his contract. He just renegotiated a different contract. like that's a telltale sign that all of the money's going to you, Josh, and we just can't do it anymore. We're out of money.
Yeah.
So we're hearing offers. It's not off the table for your boy. Sorry. And they'll listen to his opinion, but it's already decided. The night there's also, it's out now that Pagula was in town the night before the news dropped. So, and I understand that we're getting a new roof on the KeyBank Center or whatever the hell it's called now, where the Sabres play, and they just introduced a new, chief operating dude or whatever the case may be, who's like that bald white guy that nobody, like whatever. Literally no one's focused on the Sabres in Buffalo. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. And that was my Facebook status, where the news breaks at 11:30, at 12 o'clock, 5:50 cuts to the Sabres live show. No one cared.
People would have been more interested to hear about the Bandits, what they're doing.
Correct. No one cared. Like, we're like, bro, Stephon Diggs just left Buffalo, and we're talking about the Sabres who are going to lose this night anyways.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So and when you're a Pagula and you come back to Buffalo, we do it for work.
Yeah.
If we go visit and we're middle management, if we go somewhere for work, like our day's planned, like we have legitimate itinerary and things to do in the visit to make it worthwhile for the employer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's there the night before the news breaks. He's obviously talking about that. Then he's also talking about the Sabres. Then he's going to talk about the new roof project. Like, that's just how the world works. So there's way more things happening behind the scenes. I just wish we were privy to some of it.
Here's what I think with Diggs. I think he is a good guy. I like his personality. I always go back to the video of him in the Vikings locker room, and the reporter going to like all the different Vikings players and say, who would you least want to date your sister? And everyone's like, oh, Diggs, obviously. And like, that made me so happy to my core, because like that really shows Diggs' personality, and that everybody thinks that he's a goofball. And like, I could totally see people saying that about like you and I, just because like we're off the wall. But I also feel like he's a diva. And he really does bring, when we were concerned, or when people were concerned about bringing him to Buffalo because he would bring drama, that wasn't unfounded, and that wasn't unwarranted either. Like, he's a drama person, and he functions very good in an offense that is centered around him. And I think that since the Kansas City season, where he's standing with the confetti falling and we lost the AFC Championship, he realized he's not the center of this offense Josh Allen is. And Josh will do, and the offense will do whatever it can to, one, win, but two, also protect Josh. And then the second half of that season was so focused around getting James Cook up and running, to get quick passes to Khalil Shakir, to get quick passes to Dawson Knox, that we didn't even leverage Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs at all during our most dominant performance of the season, where he went 6-0 heading into the playoffs. Diggs didn't have any 100-yard games. Davis had nothing. Our receiving core was so unaffected or ineffective.
It was underutilized.
It was underutilized and ineffective the entire time. The most effective that Gabe Davis was the entire stretch of that was because he was such a good blocker in the run game. That was his call to fame, is that he's a good blocker. We don't want to lose him, which is understandable. But Diggs wasn't being utilized to the best of his ability, and we didn't need that. So I think when you talk to Allen and you say, this is where we're thinking, because this is the long-term plan for you. We want to protect you. We don't want you to run around to have Diggs, who's a 30-year-old wide receiver, get space so you can bomb at 70 yards to him. We want to protect you. We want to have our team thrive in the next 4 years. Are you okay with us getting rid of Diggs? And then Josh is probably like, yeah, I'm okay with that. And that's how I think that conversation went, because Josh understands he's the face of this franchise, and the whole thing doesn't go around Diggs. It goes around the entire team, and getting that drama out of the locker room is beneficial to the team.
Well, yeah, it has to be. We're 20 days away from the draft. And right now there's rumors of McConkey, which, did you watch the combine?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's McConkey, and then there's also the LSU wide receiver.
McConkey is good, but I don't see McConkey going before 28, and I don't see I see McConkey going second round. And I do not see us waiting until the second round to grab a receiver. I see us trading up to grab one of the top 3 guys.
I don't think McConkey is a second round pick anymore. Not after the combine, specifically not after his pro day. So the problem is, what's that dude's name from LSU? Nunez or whatever? It starts with an N. He wore number 8 for LSU.
Neighbors?
No. It starts with an N. He wore number 8. He was disgusting. He had 120 yards per game the last, I think it was like the last stretch of games. And he's a junior. He's coming out as a junior. He's nasty. The chances of him even being there are like slim to none. His, are you looking up LSU's roster?
No, I'm looking up the top wide receivers. So the top wide receivers in this draft.
Hold on, just find his last name first. There's like 2 LSU wide receivers that are pretty much like some of the top picks.
Malik Neighbors is projected to go number 2 overall. He's from LSU.
Yep.
Brian Thompson is projected number 4 from LSU. And the next dude from LSU.
Look up LSU wide receivers who wore number 8. He's a junior. Just look up LSU's last season's roster.
Dude, he's not even in the top 20.
No. He has to be. They also literally just talked about them on the One Bills live show for like 30 minutes. He's...
Are you sure it's LSU?
Yeah, I'm positive it's LSU. Nobody else wears purple and yellow with the tiger and people are screaming. I also can't stand LSU because I'm a Clemson fan.
Javen Nicholas?
No. He wears number 8. Who's number 8 wide receiver for LSU? So he's
Malik
bigger.
Neighbors.
It is Neighbors.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're thinking that the Bills might trade up to get him. And that's pretty much you're going all in for a generational wide receiver talent because there's almost no way that we're going to get him in front of San Diego, who's number 4 overall in the draft. San Diego obviously just lost Williams. And
Los Angeles, you're saying.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Chargers are 4 overall in the draft. They're very likely going wide receiver. They have to. They need talent, and they need a lot of youth on their roster.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to, unless we give them everything we have, right? And Marvin Harrison's going to be gone, and they're thinking that the Bills are either going to go McConkey or Neighbors.
See, now my problem with McConkey, so
He's not big enough?
I follow Walter Football. Walter Football has been my source like for the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He ranks a lot of the wide receivers. He ranks every single position, and I feel like he gives like draft outlook. He gives what he views of the combine and their pro days and all that stuff. He's super good. He has Ladd McConkey right now ranked as the number 9th wide receiver overall, going projected around 2 to 3. And he's 5'10", 186.
Mm-hmm.
What is Khalil Shakir?
186 is McKenzie. McKenzie was 186 pounds.
So my thing is...
But he's a better receiver than McKenzie.
But do you want another small guy on the team?
It's all based on Brady's offense. That's the thing. Because the other person that's attached to the Bills randomly is Worthy. The dude that ran a 4.2 140.
Right. Yeah.
And I hate that.
I hate that too.
I hate that. The dude is a bird. There's no girth to him. Granted, he never got hurt in college.
Yeah.
He played 38, 39 games, which is amazing at Texas. McConkey has 2 injuries. However, he's much better as a receiver. But he's got a better route tree. He creates more distance. He's a bit more durable, and he's stockier.
But I still see, though, like...
I don't know what Brady wants. I don't know if he wants open concepts. I don't know if he wants a true number 1. I really don't. Because he didn't necessarily have a true number 1 at LSU. He utilized 2 different receivers and got them both 1,200 yards.
So now I'm gonna throw out a situation here for you. When last year, when we thought Ken Dorsey was our guy, we drafted Kincaid because he was a good 2 tight end guy. And Ken Dorsey wanted 2 tight ends. Do you really think that we're going to put our future of our team off of what Joe Brady wants for our offense when he was technically an interim head or offensive coordinator last year and he just got the full-time job. Do you really think we're going to be basing our entire offense of what he wants, or do you think that replacing our number one wide receiver with a dude like Rome Odunze, who's like 6'3", 210, an elite player that can be a true outside wide receiver to box people out? Like, that's what I see us going for, not another Khalil Shakir McKenzie.
The thing that I'm confused on and want to see develop and understand, I really wish we were psychic, is do we want more of like the Rams or the Chiefs offense where it's just quick dumps and you let them be playmakers? Like, we just need you to create space. Kelsey creates space. Rice creates space. They're fast. And they're also game fast. They're not 40-yard dash fast. Yeah. So, like, the Rams don't necessarily have a true number one. We've had Duke Williams. We've had bigger wide receivers that have done absolutely nothing. Right. I don't know if they want to protect Josh, so they give him outlets with just freak athletes in different positions all across the board. McConkey doesn't have to be just slot. He's played multiple different positions because his IQ is so high. Yeah. If we bring in Kincaid and do what Bean drafted him for, which is think of him as just an X. Like, he's all over the place. He can do different things. He can play, 12 strong and 12 personnel. He can block, but then he can also escape and, he can catch. He's a great athlete. What I think they're going to do is just be a younger, faster, more wide open, more versatile offense, and we still have Cook. So right. I think that's the move. I think that's what they're going to go for. I don't think it's going to be the traditional, we have T.O. out there who's going to beg double coverage. If right. you have, Travis Kelce warrants double coverage every single time he's on the field. Yeah. So you can still create that, and that's what Diggs did, except we still couldn't utilize him ever. But he still pulled somebody over because it was Diggs on the field. If you have, early in his career, Henthrow did the same thing for the Raiders. Like, it just... that happens.
Oh, when Hunter Renfrow?
Yeah. And Wes Welker did the same thing. Yeah. And they weren't big-bodied dudes, and they ran the same role. Adam Thielen, same deal. It goes on. And the new Rams wide receiver that they pulled,
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, he's not a big dude, but he creates space, and he's game speed fast.
Right.
And he has that separation. Even Cam Newton talked about it. He goes, I don't want 40-yard fast. I want separation field fast, because that quick acceleration is it. That's everything. Yeah. That's also why Tyreek is Tyreek, because he's accelerating fast.
Well, and he's a fast dude in general.
Well, right. Obviously he's got top end speed as the fastest dude in the league, but that's what allows that separation, which is every quarterback's dream. When you have Josh Allen who can touch every aspect of the field, and you have Brady's offense behind it and his brain of thinking, let me just tap into each dude's skill set and just open this whole thing up, I think that's their move. And they're trying to do it on rookie contracts. Yeah. That's why McConkey's linked to the Bills. If I had to venture a guess, that's what we're trying to do, is just create a totally different dynamic of an offense, and we're not going to go with the stereotypical Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, whatever you want to call, however old you are, T.O., Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Stephon Diggs, Johnson, Mike Evans, old school true wise, that's not a thing. We're going to do dudes that can just pivot between different positions, be super versatile, because if everything fails, Josh can still run. Win the game.
Yeah. I just don't know if he's a top 28 pick, Ladd McConkey. I don't think he's a first-round guy.
I still think we're going to trade up. I think we're going to trade up and get somebody because this class is so deep, dude.
I'm going to tell you, if we trade up and we don't grab a receiver, or if we trade up and our first two picks are receiver.
It's 100% receiver.
And if we trade up, we're not grabbing McConkey.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's why I don't think we're going McConkey. So before we close out today's episode, because we're already at 48 minutes, do you think we'd go anyone in free agency, or do you think that right now we're going into the draft with Curtis Samuel being our number one wideout?
Dude, we might. We might do something. There's a lot of Odell's out there. Yeah.
Do you think we go splash play, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at? Like Ayuk or T. Higgins, or no?
No, T. Higgins, I don't think so. I don't think it makes sense. Ayuk, maybe. Per my source.
They probably or are going to be requesting similar contracts. So you would rather Ayuk, who's injury prone, over T. Higgins?
No, I'm a Clemson fan. I just don't think we can afford. The rumor is we're going after both. That's a rumor. I just don't think it's going to happen. Personally.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're going to do it. We're too tight on cap.
I'm in agreement with you. I don't think that we're going to do it because of the fact that if we're going to just take on more of our contract for a high-profile wide receiver, it made no sense for us to trade Diggs other than the fact that the organization just hated him.
Which there's that element, dude. Like there's no reason you're taking on that much money if you just wanted to move on.
Right.
Again, it's 30-70.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with you. I think we move up in the draft. I feel like we already, again, speaking of being and what we know of the organization so far and how financially responsible this organization is, they don't move on from Diggs if they already didn't have a plan. Mm-hmm. And I think their plan is they already have a suitor to move up to trade in the draft to go grab a dude like Romo Dunze or Malik Neighbors or somebody of the top 5 caliber that is truly going to make an impact on the organization. We don't move on from Diggs unless we have that already locked in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining to today's episode. I'm surprised we got through that so concise and well thought out because we've already had 17 bottles of whiskey. That was a good conversation.
We're doing okay.
We're doing okay. Thank you everybody for joining today. If you do like the Bills content, please stick around. We do try to put some of that into our weekly episodes, but again, we like to bulk record, so it doesn't necessarily make sense to be super, super current, but we try to put in some here and there. If you do like that, please stick around, press the subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment down below. And also, if you're drinking any whiskey with us, we always recommend to drink responsibly, be a good person. And Michael,
do not litter.
We're out.